Cool. I'm Joey, CEO of Nook, and let's get started. Today we're going to talk about straight up how you can earn 8% and higher through Nook. We're the highest earning savings app in the App Store, and we're growing a lot. So let's jump right into it. So the main goal of Nook and our mission is to connect you to this $100 billion stablecoin money market that everyone has been pretty much left out of, besides very technical people, people with money managers, or institutional investors. So we've created a tool, an app called Nook, to help you connect to this, and it can earn you up to 8% or sometimes higher in terms of APY returns. And we're going to dive into how we make that possible. But before we get started, just kind of a quick refresher of where does an earning app compare to Robinhood or Bank of America. So where does an app like Nook compare to Robinhood or Bank of America? The main thing to consider is banks are making money and leaving you with virtually nothing. They are paying you 0.5% APY, so they're paying you 0.5%, and that's about 1/5 the rate of inflation and 1/8 what you could be earning on Nook. FinTech apps like Robinhood do better with 4%. Your cash is definitely better there. But again, it's really not covering for inflation, and it's really not making your money work as hard as it could. So just to give you some perspective, earning with Nook earns you 8 times your bank account. It's not just the highest earning app in the App Store. It is really much more higher and significantly higher than a standard bank account savings rate. Let's jump into how we do that. The first part is markets. So we look at the markets every single day. We tap into these earning protocols, and basically Nook helps you keep on top of markets. It's not something we manually do. It's something that our algorithm does. And the second part of that is the code that powers this algorithm in the app. So what Nook does is it brings these two things together, these complex earning markets done through stablecoins and yield provided from stablecoins. And it creates an algorithm that automatically switches you into the highest earning money market and an easy to use app that is based on this algorithm, based on this code. And we're going to jump into what the market is in terms of the stablecoin yield and what the code is in terms of what the Nook app is. So before we get into the market specifically and the code specifically, this is all built around the premise of over-collateralized loans and borrower demand. So over-collateralized loans on assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., ensure that a person can lend their assets in an over-collateralized fashion. So they can lock up their assets and earn and borrow against it. So they can say, hey, I want to give you my 1 Bitcoin in return for $20,000. If anything happens to me or my Bitcoin, liquidate it. Sell it, automatically liquidate it so that there is no chance of a default. This is the beauty of stablecoins and smart contracts built on the blockchain, and this is what Nook is built on. This market helps power this 8% APY, 4 times higher than the national bank average. And so for people who have 5 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, and they don't want to sell it, but they want to borrow against it through these over-collateralized loans to pay off their taxes, buy a new car, etc., they will do this instead of selling their Bitcoin because they think Bitcoin is going to, 1, increase in price, and then 2, they do not want to pay a tax burden for liquidating their Bitcoin. So they don't want to sell their Bitcoin to pay a tax burden. So people will hold on for their Bitcoin and pay upwards of 8% just to borrow cash against it. And that's the main premise to keep in mind. This is a huge market. Nook did not invent this. I did not invent this. I discovered this when I joined Coinbase. The market is huge in terms of there's over $60 billion just through our earning protocols alone on these platforms. So $60 billion over the past 5 years. We think there's around 83 million existing DeFi users. We think this is going to soon eclipse 100 million users. And there's over 20% APY returns to be made. Nook is currently connecting you to 8 to 10%, but sometimes this can swing up to 20%, especially on other platforms. But we are taking the safest approach and going with 8%. The code is the second part, right? So there's this market of $60 billion. The code is what really Nook does and helps bring it all together. There's been over $100 million of successful transactions through Nook, deposits, withdrawals, and then your rebalancing of your portfolio into the highest earning protocol. We've had no losses to date and no issues, and we have been evaluated with a 0.1% chance of overall failure or overall risk from third-party analytics, including Gauntlet, who have over $1 billion of assets themselves and who are the kind of measurement party of counterparty risk, financial risk, and smart contract risk across the ecosystem and across our 3 earning protocols, which would be Moonwell, Morpho, and Aave. And so now I've kind of given you an overall view of the code in the market. I want to call out 2 things before we dive into the app. I want to call out 2 things. One is principles. Your principal is always safe. 2 is you can always earn. So what does that mean? Is this isn't an investment in an asset that goes up and down, a volatile asset. This is an investment in a market where you will always earn from participating in it. So if your money is in Nook, you are always earning. It's not going to go down. The rate may fluctuate. Some days you might be earning a lot. Some days you might be earning a little. But overall, it typically tends to balance out at least 7 to 8% APY per year, often higher. But it does fluctuate based on the market, right? We're connecting you directly to the market. So those are 2 things to kind of keep in mind. It goes up over time. Let's jump into the app itself. Cool. So now I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the app, how it works, and how you can start earning 8% or higher. So this is your dashboard. You only need an email to log in, and it's protected by Face ID. So there's a few things to highlight here. One is the amount that I've earned, $421. Second is my principal. I have $61,000 in this account, more overall in Nook. And then the rate that I'm currently earning, 8.3%. If I go into the details page, that will break down just exactly how we make up this 8.3%. But first, I do want to call it, you can always see your boost here that's active in the top right corner. Right now I have a 1% boost. Sometimes this is higher, depending on a code that I activate or if I refer a friend. But let's jump into the details for now and see. One is a breakdown of how much I am projected to earn over time. Second is a breakdown of the current rate. So 1% of that rate is based on the boost. The live rate is based on earning with Seamless Morpho, one of our trusted earning protocols. And I can go and see all 4 of the earning protocols. So these are the money markets where the yield is generated from. We connect you directly to these protocols. We do not take a cut, and we do not interfere in between you and these protocols. So we rebalance you every night to make sure you get the highest rate. Sometimes a protocol will change throughout the day. So right now the current highest rate is actually 7.7%, but you're currently earning 7.3% plus the 30-day 1% APY boost, getting me over 8%. If I scroll down further, I can see how I can learn more in a more kind of thorough breakdown of how Nook works. So how we built the product, what goes behind it, the consumer grade kind of industry leading security, and how we protect the millions of dollars of funds through Nook, and then how you move funds onto your Nook account through direct deposits, ACH, etc., and how we compare it to other financial apps, including Robinhood and Cash App. If we close back out of here, you can also see your profile screen. So again, your email, account details, etc. You can always log out. And lastly, I want to show you your deposit options for Nook. So if I want to deposit $50, I simply select one of these 5 options, connecting directly to my bank account through an ACH or wire transfer, connecting directly to my Coinbase account, or if I want to do a smaller amount of $500 or less per week, I can do an Apple Pay or debit card. And then lastly, if you have an existing USDC balance, you can send it via Base Network directly to your Nook account. So that's the rundown. This is my account. I'll include the details of this account in the YouTube video. But as you can see, it's counting out money live and earning you the market rate of 8.3%. And I'm excited for you to give it a try. Thank you.